But we're gonna get a lot done today. That is my hope and my wish. Let's get Special Agent Garner in, please.
He's going to draw her still on those.
Good morning, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Special Agent.
Good morning.
I want to talk to you first about the way that you gather information from photos, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
One way that you can do that is by getting a search warrant for a phone, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you get a search warrant for a phone, does that automatically give you access to that phone?
It allows me to attempt access to that phone. Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you say attempt access, what do you mean?
So our software is actually designed to interface with a phone. It's a computer, but some phones have newer chipsets or newer operating systems that our software actually cannot communicate with. So there are times that we actually cannot access the device with our software.
Does whether you have the passcode affect whether you can access the software?
No, ma'am.
It does not affect that?
No, ma'am.
You can get into a phone without the passcode?
Some, yes, ma'am.
Is that by using the gray key to
Yes, ma'am.
run the passcodes?
But there are some, even with the passcode, the chipsets and the encryption technology and the communication technology is surpassed what our software is up to. So even with the passcode, there are times that we cannot access the data on the phone with our
Would you
software.
agree with me that having the passcode helps?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Now, you can also subpoena records from the provider, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you do that, you get a much more limited scope of information.
Yes, ma'am.
Other times, you can have what's called a consent to search.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And that's when a person says, here's my phone, here's the passcode, have at it.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what happened here.
I'm not sure what was provided to Sergeant Bledsoe, but I was presented a search warrant, a consent on Artesia's. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And were you also given the passcode?
Yes, ma'am.
So y'all were able, between the two extractions, to access all of the information.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, I want to talk to you about your report,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Now, your report on its cover page is called a presentation, and if we go down to the second slide, it's a presentation for Sergeant Boyd,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And he was the lead investigator in this case.
I believe he was. He was the one that requested the location analysis. That's why his name's there, ma'am.
Okay. And so when he originally requested the location analysis, did he only request the location analysis on Mr. Isabelle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so that is what the next several slides are.
Yes, ma'am.
In this, when we go down to the information regarding communications and the information regarding Ms. Stewart, all of those things, those were created for the prosecutors.
Yes, ma'am.
So all of these maps and everything were created for a purpose.
For the location information, the mapping was presented to Sergeant Boyd, and then the communications was at the request of the DA. Yes, ma'am.
So all of these were created with a purpose, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Requested to be prepared by law enforcement
Yes, ma'am.
and by the prosecutors.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And that's who you made these presentations for.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in the presentation, I'm not going to walk you through every slide. We went through it pretty thoroughly yesterday. With Mr. Isabelle, you go from broad down to specific, and you walk step by step by step by step through every bit of that information, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, with Ms. Stewart, you, let's see. went very broad, and went extremely isolated in where you went to close up, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I noticed on your overview, the big one, you have that red pin, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you put that pin?
That red pin represents the homicide scene right there at Sedgwick and Levi.
Okay, did you put it at the actual intersection of Sedgwick and Levi?
It was based on the GPS coordinates from the reporting officer's location when he took the report. So I think it is right there at that intersection. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So that would have been where the officer was located, not necessarily where Ms. Hoyle's vehicle was located?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay. So that pinpoint may not be exactly accurate.
That's right.
Okay. Now, in your zoom ins on Ms. Stewart, this is an area at Neely and Bunnell, right? And in between Neely and Bunnell and Neely and Lorraine?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have her on Neely at one point, it looks like, and on maybe Bunnell on the other?
Yes, ma'am. The device started moving.
Okay, and it's fair to say those top bubbles are on Neely.
Yes, ma'am.
And in the mapping that you did on Mr. Isabel's phone, we can also see Neely Road in there. If you look, let me make it. You see right on that left edge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But you didn't zoom in on any part of this area for Miss Artisha Stewart's presentation.
No, ma'am.
Now, I want to talk to you about the accuracy of these pinpoint locations, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, yesterday, when we were looking at the presentation, it showed some of these dots on into the river.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it your position that that phone was actually in the Wolf River?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And what can affect the accuracy of these pinpoints?
So anything that can kind of obstruct or attenuate the signals from the GPS satellites to the device can cause discrepancies in accuracy, or not discrepancies, but larger radius of accuracy. So buildings, the phone is under a seat, if it's in a pocket, if the car goes under a tree, there's just anything that would hinder the signals reaching the device decreases the accuracy of that GPS hit.
Does the individual cell phone provider affect the accuracy of GPS in certain locations?
No, ma'am.
It doesn't at all?
No, ma'am.
So the signal will be the same whether it's T-Mobile or AT&T?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, for example, in my old house, I couldn't have a T-Mobile phone because it wouldn't work. Like I'd have a dead spot in my house.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but when I switched to AT&T, I was able to make phone calls. No problem.
Yes, ma'am.
So, even though the signals for the calls were different for the providers, the signal to the satellite would be the same?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, when you were testifying yesterday, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I thought you said that movement can affect accuracy.
Yes, ma'am. It can.
And that's because of all of those intervening forces that you were just talking about, trees, buildings, things like that?
And the satellites are not stationary. So the satellites rise and set kind of like the sun and the moon. So as some satellites come up, some are going down, so you don't have the same number of satellites directly overhead all the time for the device to see, and that affects the accuracy of the GPS hits also.
So the time of day can even affect the accuracy?
I don't know about the time of day. It would just be the movement of the satellites.
Okay, but if the satellites are moving, then they would be at a different place from one time to another?
Yes, they are always moving. They're orbiting the Earth. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so on a single day, the time of day could matter.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
And the availability of satellites in the area that you're in matters.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
All right, so now I want to talk to you about some of the direct examination yesterday regarding the earlier in the day. When we were talking about the area of Mart Road. And that's what's up on the screen right now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Mart Road was the call-out time at 11:51 a.m., right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mart Road is not Levi Road.
That is correct. It is not.
Mart Road is not Sedgwick Road.
It is not. No, ma'am.
Those are two completely different areas,
Yes, ma'am.
separated by a huge forest area.
I'm not sure of the topography, but it is separate, distinct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this is a zoomed out view of their distance, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said you're not familiar with that area?
I
at
am
all?
not. No, ma'am.
Is it possible for GPS to have created that line on a map, for GPS to have been so inaccurate that Mr. Isabelle would have actually been traveling on Levi and Sedgwick?
No, ma'am. I think that with the location hits being on that road and not having any kind of outliers, I don't think that it would be on Levi and Sedgwick at all. No, ma'am.
Okay, so that, even with giving accuracy, even with taking accuracy into consideration, that's on Mart Road, that is not on Levi or Sedgwick?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I would like to talk to you about this slide that you discussed with the state yesterday, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this involves a phone call that was on Ms. Stewart's phone, but not on Mr. Isabelle's phone.
That's correct.
But these calls were between Mr. Isabelle and Ms. Stewart, or
Yes,
at
ma'am.
least between their devices.
Between the devices. Yes, ma'am.
And that's an important clarification, right?
Absolutely.
This is something to where we aren't talking about, you know, this doesn't necessarily equal this, and what you're tracking is that.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
So why would a phone call show in one and not the other?
It could have been deleted from one and not from the other.
Okay? And that would have been a phone call to Mr. Isabelle? Based on those numbers from Ms. Stewart?
Can't see the, that pointer's hiding the, can we slide it over? Yes. So that is an outgoing call. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that would have been from Ms. Stewart to Mr. Isabelle at approximately 10:19.
Yes, ma'am. From that device to Isabel's device. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And these were the calls that you had from Mr. Isabelle's phone regarding Ms. Stewart, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So those two devices calling each other.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, yesterday on Direct, you talked about how the user would have to change the name, right? For that, because there's the same number but two different names?
That is one possibility. So is the where it's pulling its contact information from. So a contact information can be a collection from many different sources, from Facebook, from user entered, from Instagram, from any other social media, Snapchat. So yes, ma'am.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure yesterday you testified that that indicated that the owner changed the ID.
It could be an indication the owner changed the ID. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's a possibility,
Yes, ma'am.
but there are other possibilities.
Absolutely.
And any of those are equally possible.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk to you now about data points. I'm going to come on into the well in the corner, and we're going to move around a little bit, right? So what are these data points that the GPS is based on?
This is the device seeking its location from GPS satellites.
Okay, and so when you see a pin drop GPS data point, what does that mean?
That means that is where the device has determined its location is based on the information received from the satellites.
Okay, so if you get one data point that puts me here, and the next data point that you get puts me here,
Yes.
that just means that at this moment I was here, and at this moment I was here.
That means the device thinks it was there.
Right.
Yes.
It does not mean that I traveled in a straight line between those two.
That is absolutely correct.
I could have gone all the way around here and still had this data point land here.
And actually, it could mean the device actually didn't move, but the signals that it's receiving could have been reflected, could have been bounced, could have been attenuation, a time change in the amount of time it took that signal to get to that device. So it is basing that on what it perceives the signal response is.
Thank you, that
Yes,
helps.
ma'am. Absolutely.
So while GPS location is helpful, it is not 100% accurate.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
And while it may be helpful, it does not draw lines between points.
It does not.
So yesterday when you talked about that maps it out exactly, it maps out where that device thinks it was at those exact times.
Yes, ma'am.
It does not map a route necessarily.
No, the software mapped that out. Yes, ma'am.
Now, one moment, please. Your Honor, that's all I have from this witness.
Can you redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. If you don't mind, please.
Oh, I pushed something. I pushed something, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Excuse me.
Keep that firmer.
I warned you, I'm not tech savvy.
It's a TV.
So sorry.
All right, Special Agent Garner.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Fuchs was asking questions about who you prepared the report for. Let's go back to the first part, the location data of Mr. Brandon Isabelle's phone.
Yes, sir.
You prepared that for Sergeant Boyd. Was that during the course of the investigation?
Yes, sir, it was.
Right around February 2nd, approximately?
Yes, sir.
At that time, were they still trying to figure out where Davy Kennedy was?
Yes, sir.
Later on, in preparation for this trial, did the state reach out to you and ask you to look into the phones a little bit more?
Yes, sir.
And then at that point, did you look into areas of the phone and then report back to the state of Tennessee what you found?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you generated that report based on what you found in the phone, correct?
That is correct.
Let's talk about GPS data and the accuracy of it. Now, specifically here, we're looking at GPS data from the phone itself, connecting to the satellites.
Yes, sir.
It's an essential function for the phone to be able to know which towers to connect to, right?
One of the functions, yes, sir.
So this GPS location data is the phone trying to figure out where it is so it knows which towers to talk to, correct?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Fuchs was talking a minute ago about, well, there's a data point here and a data point here, it means that the phone thinks it was in those locations
Yes.
at those specific times.
Yes, it recorded that GPS location and then recorded that GPS location. Yes.
Are the times of the locations important?
Yes.
What's important about the times for each location?
The times are from when the device actually received that signal and recorded it to its log. So that's just, it's keeping track of where it was at what time of day and that.
So if there's a point here and a point here, they're 1 second apart. It's possible, right, that the path of travel could have been not just a straight line, but a curve, right?
Correct.
But we talk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. If the second time between the two, if the difference in time is 1 second between point A and point B, does it make sense that the route of travel would have been this long squiggly line that I just traced out with my feet?
No, like I said, it might not have moved at all.
It might not have moved at all.
Just the GPS signals with the attenuation, the reflection, the bouncing, the device could be stand still and record a different hit.
But the timing of the points is what's important.
Yes.
And if there's a cluster of a point here, a point here, a point here, and another over here, all within a 5-second period of time, does it make sense that the phone at some point in time was during that 5-second window in this general location versus, say, Cordova, Memphis, Tennessee?
That's correct.
So the time and the cluster of points indicate during that time where the phone may have been.
Yes.
It could have been in that area where all the points were.
Yes.
So when looking at location data, determining where a phone is, it's important to look at the clustering and the time period, correct?
Yes.
So if you have a clustering of points, say on Mart Road, following the outline of Mart Road, is that a good indicator, as demonstrated earlier in the PowerPoint, that the phone was along Mart Road at those times?
That is correct, yes. It's a good indicator, yes.
It would indicate that it was there, say, as opposed to Cordova, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go back to Artesia Stewart's location data. This piece was asking about where her location data was clustered. And here you've actually played it out by times instead of just dots, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the largest cluster of dots there within the red circle, that's on Stacy Road, correct?
Yes, sir.
There is one showing at 9:40 on Vanell, correct?
Yes.
And then there's one showing at 10:03:06 p.m. over there, kind of around Howard.
Yes.
And then 10:03:42 at Neely. And there's a good little cluster right there, Neely, south of Lorraine Road.
Yes, sir.
But the vast majority of that cluster is showing there at an address on Stacy, correct?
Correct.
And then progressing with time towards Neely.
Yes.
And that is 10:03 approximately,
Yes.
correct? And as we look at the map, it proceeds down in time from 10:03 to 10:58 p.m. all the way up to an address on North 2nd Street, correct?
On this slide, it was 10:03 to 10:28.
Excuse me, 10:03 p.m. to 10:28 p.m.
Yes, sir.
The whole time, the dots are moving along the roadway, correct?
That's correct.
Did you find a cluster of pink dots at Levi and Sedgwick
I did not.
for Artesia Stewart's phone?
No, I did not.
Did it drive down Neely?
Objection to speculation?
Did the phone, excuse me,
For what purpose? Are you withdrawing?
well, I guess,
Raising?
Your Honor, it doesn't call on speculation. I'm asking him to state based on the data that he used to make this map showing it going down Neely. He plotted those based on time, and he could testify to the time at which the dots moved, the data points moved along the road.
For the device, yes.
For the
For
device?
the device. Sustain the objection for the device specified.
Yes, sir. For Artesia Stewart's device, did it continue moving along Neely Road as it traversed from Stacy Street to North Second Street?
It did, yes.
And that's between 10:03 p.m. and 10:28 p.m. on the 1st.
The 10:03 to 10:28 is actually from that address on Stacy to the address on North Second. So it actually includes all of the dots that's in that graph, sir.
And it didn't turn off on Levi.
No, it did not.
Now, going back to the slides regarding the call logs between Artesia Stewart and the defendant. The names change, correct,
Yes,
for Artesia Stewart in the defendant's phone. Does the phone number stay the same each time, though?
it does, yes.
So does that indicate to you that Brandon Isabel's phone is calling Artesia Stewart's phone at those times?
Yes.
Now, going back to the locations of Brandon Isabel's phone. Brandon Isabel's phone appears on Levi Road near the intersection of Levi and Sedgwick, the area where Danielle Hoyle was found shot to death at 9:02 p.m. to 9:17 p.m. on February 1st of 2022, correct?
That is correct.
It also shows going to that same area earlier on Mark Road, earlier in the day, correct?
That is correct.
From 11:48 a.m. to 11:55 a.m., correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And to get there to Mark Road, it came from the Levanter Surgery Center out east of Poplar and State, right?
Yes, sir.
It just drove straight down to the phone went straight down to Mark Road.
No, it did not.
Can you describe the path of travel that you recall it taking?
The device left the surgery center, traveled east on Poplar, and then turned northbound on Germantown, then went westbound, made a left onto Walnut Road, and took Walnut Road to Interstate 240, and then went southbound 240 towards Mark Road.
This slide here.
Yes, sir.
So
So it didn't go down to Germantown, it went up Farm Road,
well, what,
Poplar to Farm Road to Humphreys, Humphreys to Germantown, north on Germantown, then made a left onto Walnut Road, where it then went back to Interstate 240 headed southbound.
once it got to Mark Road, it was there for a few minutes, correct?
Yes,
And then turned around and drove to 8072 Lathbury, correct?
yes, sir.
And that was earlier in the day of February 1st, 2022, from on the scene of Mark Road from 11:48 a.m. to 11:55 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Brandon Isabel's phone also showed up on Mud Island on the evening of February 1st of 2022, correct?
That's correct.
From 10:59 p.m. to 11:27 p.m.
Yes, sir.
It also showed near the area of the boat ramp at 11:20 p.m.
That's correct.
It also showed the phone at the Walgreens at Rains and Elvis Presley Boulevard from 11:51 p.m. on February 1st, 2022 until 12:11 a.m. on February 2nd, 2022, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
It also showed the phone at the Walmart on Elvis Presley Boulevard from 12:15 a.m. on the 2nd to 12:17 a.m. on the 2nd, correct?
Correct.
And it shows it arriving at the house on Stacy Road at 12:21 a.m. on the 2nd to 12:23 a.m.
Yes.
Now, Brandon Isabel's phone also appears to go to 8072 Lathbury numerous times during the course of February 1st and February 2nd, correct?
That is correct.
Specifically, it arrives on February 1st at 8072 Lathbury at 8:05 p.m., correct?
Don't recall if we can pull it up so we can refresh.
Sure. Or leaving, excuse me, leaving Lathbury at 8:05 p.m.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
It also shows the Brandon Isabel's phone arriving back at Lathbury at 10:24 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And then it shows the defendant's phone leaving that location again at 10:30 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
At 8072 Lathbury.
Yes, sir.
State will pass the witness.
I'll be careful. Thomas. Your mapping on Mr. Isabel's phone showed him at Levi and Sedgwick between 9:02 p.m. and 9:17 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
And yet, when the state asked you to map Artesia Stewart's locations, they asked you to start at 9:30 p.m.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Now, I want to ask you about something Mr. Steele said about arriving at and leaving. Can you tell when someone arrived based on their data points?
No, ma'am.
Can you tell when someone left based on their data points?
No, ma'am.
You can just tell where they are at that exact time.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, would putting your phone in airplane mode affect whether you get data points?
No, ma'am.
Would turning your phone off affect whether you get data points?
Turn it off. Yes, ma'am.
So there are ways to stop data points from coming.
Absolutely.
That's all I have.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.